Good evening and welcome to In the Chair, February 2024. I nearly forgot what month we were in. Today we are talking all about how to stay relevant in social media. Now, I am going to bring in our esteemed guest for this evening, Mr. Simon Townley. Hi, hello Jack Charles Hare, hello Lotus, hello Andrew. Please do come and say hi. There he is.
As easy as that.
Easy as that. How are you, my darling?
I'm very well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Pleasure. Thank you for joining us. Okay, so I think the best thing we need to do, first of all, is to do a little introduction to you. So Simon, why don't you tell us a little bit about you, your backstory, what you're doing on social media at the moment, your business. Tell us a little something.
So yeah, I was just trying to add that to my story, but it's not as simple as I thought it would be. Sorry. So yeah, so I'm basically a hairdresser of 18 years now. Fell into the sort of men's side of hairdressing quite prominently. Loved doing gents' hair, loved doing short hair. It was actually the transition from short hair that turned it into gents' hair in the end. Brutal honesty. I went into hairdressing with absolutely no expertise in hair. I've never touched a doll's head. I'd never had a young sister that I'd had to do hair for or anything like that. It was just simply wanting to learn a new thing and I was into fashion, but I didn't know quite how to articulate myself in what I wanted to do. So found hair, luckily, and basically the women that used to come in with long hair like yourself and then they'd want a blow dry, that was my worst nightmare at the beginning. Honest to God, my worst nightmare. But the girls would love that. The other apprentices, the other juniors, and they would love that, but they would hate doing someone's hair short, and that's all. So it became a trade-off. So that's how I sort of got good at that as quickly as I did. Started going down the L'Oreal Colour Trophy route, doing all the early competitions, and never won, but got in the RD team, which was, a stepping stone in my career, definitely a huge part of my career, in fact. And then was blessed with falling on a few footballers that ended up going to play Premier League and internationals, and I've been to Russia, France, you name it. I've been lucky, I've been blessed.
So now you're celebrity hairdresser, as it were.
Allegedly, yeah. Allegedly. I've still not put that in my bio yet. I've still never done that after 18 years, but I just put a hairdresser with a difference, or a different type of hairdresser, something like that.
Brilliant. And today we're going to talk about social media, and your social media is fantastic. You've got what, 30.3,
I think.
Thousand followers.
30,300.
So I know that social media is the bane of a lot of people's lives in this industry, because they think, I'm so busy on the floor, I've got to run a business, and now I'm supposed to be a social media expert as well on top of that. And it can seem difficult, and also people think, why do I need to do this? So this is what we're going to talk about today, and using your expertise. So I suppose my first question to you is, obviously social media is a type of marketing. So for you personally, in your business and where you're going, where you're heading, why is it important for you to keep marketing to your clients?
It's as simple as a saying that probably many people have heard many times, but this is what resonated with me, and it was put out there what you want to get to return, or get back, or whatever simple way you want to read it. And I've never really read about manifestations and all that stuff, and until I was later on in my career, but I always knew I wanted to be involved in football, and I always knew I wanted to be involved in hair. So I was manifesting before I understood what manifesting was. Now, the saying, put out there what you want to get back, is the same family of thought, in my opinion. And marketing is the same. If you put out there that you do loads of curly blow dries, you're not really going to get an old lady set perm come through the door. But if you put out there you do a lot of gents cuts and short hair or a lot of long hair, that's the kind of market that will stop people scrolling, and then that's the people that will be attracted to your page. That's my summarize of it.
Well, I think that's absolutely perfect. And I think that's so important for people who think, well, why am I doing this? Why am I doing social media? It's a pain in the backside. But you're absolutely right. What you put out, you will
Yeah,
get back. And if your speciality is balayage or short hair or whatever it is, the more you put out of that, the more likely you are to get it back. Exactly.
correct. Yeah,
Exactly.
you've got people that you might have seen on Instagram, like Cherie Thompson Siren went quite big in lockdown with her socials and things like that.
Mm.
She's just known for her bridals. She doesn't do anything else, doesn't post anything else. Now she's doing education in bridals. Now she's posting videos of her going around the country and even Europe doing bridal hair.
Yeah.
So, and that started from lockdown. I mean, she was doing bridal hair before that, but the social media side of her, I only got introduced to it during lockdown, and then it's just grown massive since then.
Amazing.
That's not me.
By the way, if anybody's got any questions, do please pop them in the chat, and we will answer them as we go. So obviously you've got social media, which you're growing, and we'll come on to that in a second, but also we do text message marketing together, the two of us, because I look after you and your account. So from a business perspective, do you think, what do you think the difference is, and why does one have its place over here and the other has its place over there, and what does it give you for your business?
So this is a question that I did, the only question that you've thrown at me that I did a bit of research on, and it's the only question because the rest of it I thought I'll just answer as I go because I don't do research. But that one stumped me because I don't use SMS prior to you guys. Now, how do I articulate that and word that when it's not my expertise? If it wasn't for you guys, I probably wouldn't have used it in the first place. So the best line I've read while I was researching it was social media is for your reach and getting a new audience, but SMS is for engagement because you get 100% of your delivery towards the people that you're SMSing or emailing even. You know, if they've put their interest in you, you're going to get that delivery unless you're bombarding them with information that they're not interested in, which, you know, that's another topic on another day of what type of SMS do you want to set out and stuff like that. But yeah, I think it's for the reach, you would use social media, and for the engagement, I would use SMS text messaging.
Yeah.
I presume there's a question coming, but yeah, for how that helps my business is massive because I'm not in the salon anymore. I barely go to the salon. In fact, you give me more information about my salon than I am sometimes aware of. So that's the God's honest truth of it, and that's because of analytics and SMS and details and information and data. That data is the best way to summarize it.
Yeah. No, perfect answer. I mean, the marketing that you've got on that's automated does the job for you in terms of, you're exactly right. It's bringing in clients back through the door who we've already got on the system. And if we ever do a little marketing, an extra marketing blast separately, we can track exactly who's booked in off the back of that message and blah, blah, blah.
Crazy.
So that's fantastic. But yeah, you're absolutely right. You are, from a social media perspective, you are trying to grow your reach and attract more new clients to your door, really.
It depends what type of hairdresser you want to be. I always knew that my thing very early on was I wanted to be a hairdresser that other hairdressers went to. That was always my thing of what I had a mindset of. And I don't know where that came from. It was more of an arrogance when I was younger, I think. But I definitely don't have that now, by the way. And I just kind of wanted to be that. So for me, working with brands was always in my vision. Like I mentioned it, the L'Oreal RD team. I'm now at Matrix, been there for 5 years, which is part of the L'Oreal group. And that world for me was just always what appealed to me. Now, for me, social media works massively in that world and in that market. If I wanted to attract clients to my salon, it might not have as much impact as the data that you have available to me because of the software we use. But if I want to work with brands, if I want to work with celebrities, footballers, things like that, social media for me is my shop window. Yeah,
exactly. And we've just had a question from Lewis who said, what's the best way to put yourself out there as a barber and grow your clientele?
So as a barber, I reiterate this quite often. I am a hairdresser that fell into men's hair, and I feel like this upskilling yourself into hairdressing as well as barbering will give you more opportunity than you probably think it will, because you get to work with different hair types, different textures, lots of different things. And then when you put your hand up and say, I'm available to do this opportunity, you're less likely to not be asked back because you're more than capable to do with what you have in front of you. If you want to get into putting yourself out there, I presume I'm answering for it, that the question is, how do I work with celebrities or whatever? You have to do things like volunteering,
Yeah.
being an assistant for someone who's quite big, but they don't necessarily work with men's hair. You know, there's not many of them out there. You might want to go in the female market, in my opinion, like London Fashion Week, Central St. Martin's. These are all opportunities that I got to be a part of. X Factor. These were, but if I didn't know long hair, that wouldn't have happened. I wouldn't have got it just on my men's hair cutting.
Yeah.
That's
Good answer.
Thank you.
We've had a little comment from Siren Hair Art. I use email marketing but never thought of SMS. Interesting. So just on email marketing, email usually has a 12% open rate. If you think about the amount of emails you get in your inbox, you're like, can't be bothered. SMS will have a 92% open rate. So if you want to get a good response and a good success rate, try SMS marketing, Siren Hair Art. I'm Jared's brother, by the way. Never got to thank you for Phil Jones's shirt. I assume you know what that means,
Jared's
Simon.
my brother, but Jared's brother. Jared is my stepbrother. Lewis, right? Okay, I see it now. Yeah, Lewis is my brother's brother, which is a very long story. But yeah,
we'll leave that for another one.
Yeah. That's my mum, that one. I don't know that one much.
Okay, so the most important question out of all of this. How are you trying to stay relevant on social media? I know you've got a mission at the moment.
Yeah.
So talk us through your mission.
So that I could do an hour of reading, and this is one of the only things that ever could keep my attention on reading is social media. I don't know why, but I'm fascinated by it because how do you stay relevant on it is an ever-changing question. So if you're watching this reel back in 6 months' time, this might not be relevant anymore. That's how focused you need to be on your social media content if you are wanting to pursue it seriously. I changed my target, and you need something that captures you within the first 2 seconds. So mine is, will I get to 100,000 followers, right? That's my new thing, working massively for me at the moment. Just change it to something more realistic, like let's see if I get to 10,000 followers, let's see if I get to 1,000 followers, whatever it is, it's realistic or an ambition, then do it. And that is my new thing. So I've got my attention grabber. People might follow me just to see if I fail, but they're still following me. And that doesn't matter to me. They can do that because if my followers goes up, then I'm more valuable to the brand of Matrix and feel that as well I'm more valuable to them, I'm more employable, and that's my career. That's the way I earn my money now. You know that because we speak on the phone quite often when I'm driving up and down. And I got back from London last night, 2 days in London doing Matrix stuff. That for me is all I wanted to be as a hairdresser. So if you wanted to, I only get that through my social media is the reason I got into that. And if you want to stay relevant, it's the equivalent of when you see something in plain sight, there's usually a reason people are posting like that. It's the same with fashion. If you see people have suddenly gone from skinny jeans, which they have, to bootcut jeans, and they're suddenly wearing really loose baggy pants, there's a reason for it. It's because the fashions are changing and the trends are changing. It's the same on social media. You will stop and watch funny videos for hours, right? And it's usually the first video that's the funniest, and then the rest tails off into not quite so funny. But it's the attention grabber. That's a big thing at the minute. If you want to stay relevant, keep watching, keep learning, keep seeing what you watch, and then just put it into your industry. So I don't just watch hairdressing videos. I follow like painting videos. I follow football videos. I follow the dash cam footage, but it's all things that I think, how can I translate that into my medium or industry? And so much research needs to be done. And if you love it, brilliant. If you don't, it's a part-time role.
Yeah. I mean, this is, I think, the conversation that comes up with a lot of my salon owners. They're like, how am I going to fit this in? And how much do I need to do to stay relevant and to grow my page? So from your perspective, if you're not at obviously 33,000 followers, but let's say you're trying to get to 1,000 or 2,000 followers, what would your tips and tricks be? Would it be post once a day, twice a day, post at 7 p.m? What would your tips be?
So this is a great question, and I could answer it in a few different examples. So for example, Hair Socials is a brand that I've started, and we have a banner of the week competition every Monday, and people just enter the best images that they've loved doing. If I forget, which I do often, at 9 o'clock in the morning when I've dropped the kids off at school and I'm thinking, I haven't done banner of the week, I will promise you now the engagement will be less than when I posted at 8 a.m. And when I posted at 8 a.m., I've usually scheduled it the night before when I've remembered, thinking, oh, I need to do that at 8 a.m. Scheduling things makes it easier, but definitely work out what time. I only worked at 8 o'clock works for me by trial and error of getting things wrong and forgetting and posting at lunchtime instead of 8. And 8 o'clock for me seemed to be a very good time.
Interesting.
Yeah, so we posted it this morning. I think we had in 32 minutes 44 comments, which means 44 entries.
Wow.
We usually get about 100 and a plus comments, but if I post quite after 9 o'clock, we're averaging around 80. So it's a big difference. It's it's a 20% difference. So that's my answer on timing. Remind me of the other question. If you wanted to get to a certain number, was it?
Yeah, and sort of how many posts do you do a day?
Correct. Yeah. So my post per day isn't as often as you probably think. You might see it, but it's not 7 times a week. Let's put it that way. It might be once a day. Might be once a day for 3 days.
Yeah.
Might not do anything for 4 days after that. So for me, it never really matters how much I post. Sometimes having a 2-3 day break puts me older content back up people's feeds again. I've read that somewhere. It's true. I do find I get lost in the numbers, so I don't really monitor mine.
Yeah.
But I have read somewhere that if you do have a couple of days break, it can help you. So if you can't post every single day, now my brother is a perfect example. Jared is an Elvis tribute, and I batter him about not enough content.
Yeah.
And this is the information that I give him and the advice I gave him. You need to just add a day. So whatever day you work, if it's Monday, you're off. If it's Tuesday, you're in half a day. Brilliant. Let's do half a day of social media. And the other half of the day, you want to go on to apps that are already there, they're free. Business Suite on Facebook.
Yeah.
Download Business Suite. If you've got a business page, works perfectly. It connects to your Instagram and your Facebook. Schedule your posts for Tuesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, because they're your busiest days where you can't be bothered posting.
Yeah.
And then if you get impulsive on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, brilliant, post away. But at least get 4 pieces of content and schedule it for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday when you're too busy to post it. That's one tip for getting enough content out. Apps can help you massively nowadays. Depending on I don't know who's watching. I can see a few names have popped up, but I don't know who's watching right now. But depending on who is watching, if you're trying to attract 25 and younger, or you're trying to find 25 and older, these apps change dramatically. So there's an app called Video Leap, which is probably for the 25 and younger, because it's short, it's choppy, it's everything that turns my boring 10-second video of one haircut panning around him. I'm literally just walking around for 10 seconds, and it'll chop it and make it go to the beat of the music. Cost me like $4.99 a month. I'm not saying it's cheap, that one. But for me, that saves me a lot of time, money, and editing. And then I just schedule that.
Interesting. So you put your content into Video Leap, was it called?
Yeah, L-E-A-P.
And it will edit it for you.
Correct, yeah. And then it edits it into a 10-second video or a 4-second video, depending on. If you don't like that template, I've never got to the end of the templates, let's put it that way. And then you just go next. And then I save the 3 or 4 that I like, then watch them back at the end, and then I just pick one.
Interesting.
So that can save you time.
So trial and error in terms of
timings.
What content works at what best time, and scheduling is the key.
8 a.m. for me. I schedule on my busiest days, because I don't necessarily know if I'll have time to do the editing as well. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, like when I'm on the train yesterday, I was already editing my video. I've still not done it, finished it, because it was 17 minutes long. And I've now got it down to 1 minute 30. So now I just need to do the voiceover and it's done. And then that'll be tomorrow's post now. Because I won't post it tonight now. I feel like it's too late now.
Yeah. Well, I've got, Sure. Okay. So another question that I always get is, what do I post? I don't know what to post. And so many salon and barber Instagram pages will literally just be the back of people's heads. And the work is beautiful. Yeah. But if I'm a client and I land on this page, I know absolutely nothing about this salon. I don't know whether they're fun, bubbly, whatever. I don't know anything. So from my perspective, whenever people ask me, I say, we've got to educate, we've got to inspire, and we've got to entertain.
This is my pet hate. That's why I was getting close. I was going to whisper it. It's my pet hate when people post pictures of the back of heads. Yeah. you don't follow people. This goes back to my earlier comment, and it's still relevant. You do not follow people that post pictures of the back of people's heads. You follow people in LA salons where their head's down like this and the hair's falling over it, and the beautiful salon in the background. You might not have these facilities, but you still have the availability to make that content.
Yeah.
And that the back of people's heads is thing that I've done a social media thing once or twice for L'Oreal over the 5 years, and one of my best pieces of advice is, who is that person that's doing that hair? I know you could do hair. That's why I'm following you in the first place. But I want to know who's doing my hair. I want you to get rid of all these modern day problems we've had since the COVID times, where we don't like going into new shops anymore. We don't like talking to people we don't know. You can batter down that block by making people think they know you, by making people comfortable with you, and deciding whether I like that person or not before they've even walked through the door. So that's half the barrier down. The second one is, I find that pictures of me, which I post, and I'm a bit hypocritical in some respects because I don't post a lot about me, but when I do post what I do post about me, it gets so much more engagement. People like it more, but I just don't like posting it, and I can understand that people don't.
Yeah,
but it works.
It does, because you're humanizing the brand. And if a new client is looking for a salon in your area and they stumble across a page that's just back of people's heads, but I know nothing, it doesn't give me anything personality wise for the business, and it doesn't make me want to go.
No.
We've got a question here from the Lemongrass Lounge. Do you know how much revenue your social media generates, and how do you measure this?
Oh, so this, unfortunately, is a question that I'd find difficult to answer without telling you exactly what I earn, because it's my wage. So it's almost like me saying to you, what do you earn a week? You know what I mean? Or a month? It's a difficult question to answer, but I do want to be honest and transparent.
Yeah.
What I will say is, I pay my bills with the money that I get from Matrix, and the money I get from Matrix, I only get because I have a social media following.
Good enough answer.
The rest of the money that I earn doing football, doing salon work, is the money that you spend. But I know that I've got my mortgage, my gas, my electric sorted by that bit.
Yeah.
You know.
Do you ever
Media and all that lot comes out of that one.
Yeah. Do you ever do sponsored social media ads? Do you ever put some money behind them?
No, it's a good question. I've never boosted my post because I've always had this paranoia that if I boost it once, it's going to hold all my rest of my posts back, so that I keep having to boost them. I've never read it, I've never seen it, but I'm paranoid because it makes so much sense. Like, if you know someone's prepared to pay for a post, surely you would then make them pay for future posts. That's my opinion. So I don't pay for posts. However, I am not trying to drive people to my door. If you are driving traffic through a local area, how many times do you scroll Facebook and you'll see a picture of a hotel that's not far from you, or a spa day because you've Googled a spa day? If you are trying to attract an offer, if you are trying to attract a day out, a new service, by all means, boosting posts could work for you. But for me, I didn't feel like it was the right choice. What was the second part of that question? Sorry.
And how do you track it, basically?
Track it, yeah. So the tracking thing, I've only just started doing. And if you follow my social media, the last one when I put day 1, day 2, day 3, I think day 3, I reviewed a haircut that I'd done 3 months ago, and now and compared them. But then day 4, I compared analytics from day 1's post and day 4's post. So I am going to be monitoring it a lot more now. But if I'm brutally honest, I never really monitored it.
So your main goal at the moment is growing social media?
Yeah. So my worry now is I'm 37. I'm a realist. There's cool kids coming through at 20 to 30. Footballers are 20 to 30 on an average. My market of footballers might dry out in the next 5 to 10 years. In which case, what is my future plan? My future plan in the minute is I want to work for brands. I want to help them get their message out to people. I want to help educate the next generation of hairdressers. And my plan for the next 10 years is to get to 100,000. But I just thought, let's just do it in a year if I can. I don't think I'll do it this year. And brutal honesty on the live, I probably won't do it this year. But I thought, well, if I want to get to 100,000 in 10 years, let's tell everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's manifest it.
Yeah, exactly. I've worked with Ben Brown. Me and Ben Brown were in the same RD team. He's got 300,000, so why can't I get 100,000?
Exactly. We've had another question from Ty, who said, what would you say to those salons that have very little content? Any words for those that feel that their pictures are not good enough?
Yeah. Upskill your pictures. If you feel they're not good enough, they're probably not good enough. But there is always that imposter syndrome in every hairdresser where we think that they're not good enough. I posted a picture 3 months ago, I mentioned it earlier, and I posted one now, and I look back, I think, I thought that was good then, but I weren't in love with it, and that's why I'm reviewing it, thinking I've got better. So yeah, be honest with yourself, put the posts out,
Yeah.
and then use that as a motivation to make sure that your next hair is better, that you brush that bit out that you can see sticking up, that you think, oh, I haven't seen that. I also think that when I look through a lens, I see imperfections much clearer than when I look with my eyes 100%. So even if you just take pictures to make yourself better, you're taking content, and then you might look at it next week and think, actually, that haircut weren't as bad as I thought it was last week, because your imposter syndrome's died down and you're feeling more positive about yourself. So yeah, I'd say take as many photos as you can and use it to get better.
Yeah.
Angles, the best advice to do is what you're watching, what's inspiring you to go and do that hair. Just copy it, emulate it.
Exactly. I mean, there's plenty of stuff that you can find online in terms of how to take a good photograph. Make sure you've got good lighting, got a good camera.
It's quite a shallow industry in some respects. It is our industry, you know, and I don't mean to be rude, but there's some hair looks better than other hair, and what is your brand is really important for you and what to know. Like, so if you really want to specialize in short hair, you won't put people that are just having choppy haircuts. You might put precision haircuts. So what I'm saying is, it doesn't have to be a beautiful girl or a beautiful man, but it has to be beautiful hair. Something has to be beautiful in that picture. If your hair's not beautiful, make sure the model's beautiful. If the model's not beautiful, make sure your hair's beautiful. Something has to be eye-catching. There has to be a selling point in that picture.
Absolutely. And I mean, you know, some of my most successful salons, you know, who have the most successful social media pages, they don't just post obviously pictures or videos of people's hair. They do. There was one salon that did a video on just the salon owner talking to camera and basically saying you need to shampoo your hair twice. It kicked off, that video. It went absolutely nuts. One of my other salons did a walkthrough showing how you get into the salon if you're in a wheelchair. Kicked off. So many easy things that you can do. That's video content, which always works really well. That is really easy to do, and you don't have to do that. You can always give that to an apprentice, give it to other team members, and they can do.
Kids do everything now, and we've all got juniors that have not a lot of hair to do. So that's a definite great point, that, because we can use them and utilize them in a better way, and they'll feel better as well because they feel like they're contributing. We feel like we can't ask them to do that because we don't enjoy it. They will, I promise you. And then the second point of that is like real content. You've just said 3 things there that are real content. That basically means it's a real life scenario that is something that has happened to that person. You've made it relatable. We go back to what I said at the beginning. You've got my grab. The grab is, oh, I've had that happen to me. What is your grab? And that's the best example I could come up with. They're real life scenarios. You know, we've all got like imperfections. Like, there might be a bit of fluff coming out of my hair. Be honest, be raw, be real, be you.
Exactly. Be authentic and show everybody what's special about your salon, your business, your team, and make it about you, not just the back of people's heads.
It will come out, and then people will decide whether they like that person.
Exactly. Simon, you've been absolutely fantastic. I could literally talk to you for hours, but I will let you go.
It's all right.
Thank you so much for joining us. If you're not already following Simon, go and give him a follow now. He's trying to get to 100,000 followers, and we're going to help him as much as we can. You've been an absolute superstar. Thank you so much for joining us, and I'm sure we will have you back at some point.
I'm blessed. Thank you for having me.
Pleasure. Speak to you soon, Simon.
Bye, guys.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.